Hello miners, Rusty coming at you. Today we're going to do Rusty's Nuggets on, what are we going to be? Kind of on a medium size folders here. So these are going to be over 3-inch blade lengths and under 3.5. And we got the Buck Trekker, we got the Tangram Orion, SRM 9002, Schrade Divergent, Effengrau EF 950, 6-leaf. This is the SL, I want to say 17, maybe 18, SL11 from 6-leaf, the Ganzo G704. We got the Civivi Hadros, the Civivi Mini Asticus, Kubi 901, the KOSP Penguin, Kaiser, which is a little bit bigger, but we'll cover it in this video, Towser K, Civivi, Badlands Vagabond, O-Knife Drever, O-Knife Beagle, and Benchmade Griptilian. I'm going to go over each one of these in order and talk a little bit about them. I kind of have them ranked in order of my favorites, so we'll go to it. Okay, first up is the Buck Trekker. I think it has some numbers on it like the 73XL or something like that. I picked this up for, yeah, it's a 736, 1888. Off of Walmart. It's got aluminum handle. It's got a really nice deep carry pocket clip. Lockup is too late. I don't like that. Still pretty new knife. It's got some sort of titanium coating on there. And this one stays in my truck. And it's a beater knife. Has good jimping on here. Running on washers. But 440C Chinese steel. However, I have done some work with this and I don't need to sharpen it. It's still holding its edge. Also, I don't do much for serrated blades. All right, so we'll get that one. We'll bring out this one, the Tangram Orion. Now I did dye this one. It came with brown on it. It's a Dirk Pinkerton design and it's in 440C Akuto and has a nice bead blasted finish, and it's very thin behind the edge, and it has a pretty small tip here. So we've seen this blade shape on a couple other knives. The Civivi, the Sencut Bronte. This one has very aggressive G10 handles, which makes the pocket clip suck, because when you try to pull it out of your pocket, you got all these ridges here. Lockup's decent. It's running on bearings. And that's actually, this thing has, the bearings are on a racetrack. So if you guys have ever seen that, makes for a nice open and close. You can get these on Amazon for about 22 bucks. Pretty cool jimping, if you guys can see that. Works pretty well. Ergos are decent, just not fantastic. I don't use this knife much. Blade's not that user-friendly for me. So put those two away, and we'll move up to the SRM 9002, which is a frame lock Tanto. Now, in some of my videos, I'm going to talk about where Rusty messes up, and I messed up on this, so I'll tell you that in just a second. But this is a Civivi pocket clip. It fits right on there and makes it a nice deep carry. It does have thumb stud deployment and a flipper tab. And what Rusty did was wanted to increase the detent, and he pushed down trying to get more pressure on this lock bar spring, and he pushed too hard. It was real easy to do, and that made for pretty sticky, made that lock bar go further than I wanted to. It does have this beta lock. You can get these for about 30 bucks. And what I like, it's got 12C27. It's done by Rake, or the same company that does Rake. And so this thing is what I call my razor blade. I think 12C27, they make razor blades out of that. Nice hollow grind, nice Tanto point, about 20 thousandths behind the edge. So not a bad knife, just doesn't get any pocket time. So if you guys like it, I won't not recommend it. The Schrade Divergent. You can get these right now for $22.50 with free shipping on the website, Schrade website. And then they're about a $30 knife. Reminds me a lot of a Ganzo. So thumb stud deployment, and axis lock. Kind of maybe a ProTech shaped blade on here. I got another screw up on this one. I'm learning all the time. So you guys can see that edge got high right there. Well, when I was sharpening it on my diamond, I wasn't getting this back to develop a burr. Well, come to find out that the plunge grind on here goes into the sharpening choil. And so your stone is sitting higher right here, which means it pushes it down right there. And then you get this wonky thing. I finally got it figured out, but you know, that's sure is ugly. I got to do many sharpenings to get that taken care of. So that plunge grind, be aware of that. It does close pretty well. I can do it with one hand. Oz 8 steel, 2250. It's pretty light, and I like this blade shape. This one I do carry. It's in the regular carry lineup, partly because I screwed up that blade pretty well, but it still cuts. So I don't care if the blade gets ugly. Moving on. Effengrau EF 950. About $25 range. And this one, the only thing you could fix on this would maybe be easier to deploy. The axis lock is fantastic. It's just like it's got a rubber band on there or something like that. G10's not so great. It's pretty slick. Pocket clip is okay. But as far as Effengrau knives go, this one I do like. I like most of them. Nice grinds on this blade and the D2 steel. So just don't carry it that often. One of the nicer Effengraus. This was originally jade, and I did a little dye job, try to get a blue jean kind of a look out of it. Kind of got that. So do like this one, just don't carry it that often. Now we're moving up. Here is a 6-leaf, and I don't remember, but they do put it on here. 18. It's their first button lock. These are 45 bucks, and D2. Now I do like the micarta on this. It's contoured, which really helps because this is a thick knife. It's a chunker, but the ergos are okay for rusty. And you got a nice sharpening choil. Nice finish on the blade there. I did reach out to Rattlesnake. I think it's a micro ceramic bead blast. So pretty nice. There's really, should have a 6-leaf logo here. And with the button lock is nice. The pocket clip is pretty decent. It'll run you 45 bucks. So what I've done kind of, guys, remember started my dive into knives, wanted to find out if money makes a difference. Now we're looking at the 6-leaf 11, and this is a popular one. Good access to the lock bar, slick micarta, but it looks good. And a pretty decent pocket clip. Great blade grinds. Nice swedge on there. Rattlesnake design. And also a nice finish. And I think this one is bead blast. They're different actually between these two. We'll bring these two. And you'll see kind of maybe, yeah, they're about the same size. But, you know, it's really hard to see the difference in the blade coating. But I believe there is a difference. These run on bearings. It's a front flipper. So if you're looking for a fidgety knife, and it flops out real nice with the thumb studs, just doesn't have the thumb stud on the other side. This one, by the way, does, and you can finger flick that. So just a little difference. 45 bucks. I think you can get this one in the $40 range, but I'm going to rate it a little higher than the button lock. I feel better about the lockup. This one has just a touch of play in the up and down, and what they do is that bar locks in right there. So that's the same thing the Civivi Cogent does. So just so you know. Okay, now we're moving up to one I haven't had a chance to actually experiment with much. And this is a Civivi Hadros, and it's a Dylan Mallory design. There's Dylan's maker's mark. Let me clean that up for you because this is a pretty knife. Has a hollow grind with a Wharncliffe, and it is in 10 CR 15 CO MOV, which is the Chinese experience or equivalent to VG10. So you can expect a nice edge holding, very slim through the handle. And what I would say about this, not a very everyday carry useful knife. What I do like is you got how this is rounded, and that fits into your hand very nicely if you want to use it up here, pinch grip it, and draw cut. But as far as actually cutting on a surface, your knuckles kind of get in the way. You can't get, all you can really use is the top third of this knife, and I don't like it a lot for push cuts on something besides cardboard. And I don't like the access to the lock bar. Okay, nothing there. You got to get over here. There we got her. But once you get that done, very nice drop. Black micarta. So material wise and disc design, I would put this above the rest of those. Just for use, it seems like a specialized type knife. You don't open packages, that's fine. Cut cardboard, that's fine. Ergo wise, I should mention when you go to open this thing, you kind of have to watch your fingers or they're going to be on the blade. You kind of have to really back them off because this thing is so thin. All right, doggone lockup on this one. About a $60 range. I won't tell you what I paid for it, but it was less than that. Moving on, another Civivi. Civivi Mini Asticus. Now this one is very similar to the Hadros with the fact it has 10 CR, 15 CO MOV, and it has lousy lock bar access. Just a little bit better than the Hadros. Nice flipper. Do like this flipper tab. Nice ergos. Little bit of a move up position and a nice hollow ground blade. It's kind of a safe queen for me. Doesn't get carried, but I can see that it would be a good knife for people who wanted to use it for every day. Take a peek at these two together and you'll find very similar in size and in shape, a lot of things. And this one will run you at least $60, might be in that $70 range. Nice G10 and a coated blade. Okay, so here's a value. Kubi 901C. This one has G10, which has been dyed. I think it came tan. You got some finger cut out here. Pretty decent pocket clip. Really nice opening, except it has a soft detent. A little bit of harpoon style blade with some decent jimping. And a nice, almost a leaf style blade with a nice flat grind. And it came sharp. What I like about this one as well is the drop. So very smooth drop on this. It's been lightened, has an early lockup. So yay, Kubi, get these for 40 bucks. Check it out at Chicago Knife Works. You might find it for less than 40 bucks. So that one would make a carry knife. Okay, coming up to the top 5. Well, 6. QSP Penguin. You guys know it, you've heard it, you've seen videos on it, maybe you have one. Like this knife, $32, got denim micarta, which I put some oil on so it darkened it up a bit. A D2 blade and Warncliffe sheepsfoot style. Now the difference between this one and the Hadros is you have something to hold on to. Okay, so yeah, this one's got the basically the VG10 blade, the 10CR, and then D2, so this is maybe definitely more stainless. But in terms of the jimping here, the way you can use this, I do like this one for an everyday carry, and I would recommend this one as a buy. So that would be a nugget, if you will. Okay, moving on. Moving up to $70 knives. Holy cow, Rusty. Didn't realize you bought knives for 70 bucks. Well, I had to buy this one. It's a Kaiser Towser K, and I just loved the way it looked. It's got my Richlight handle, and I put a Civivi pocket clip on this one. Fantastic, fantastic action. Boom. In fact, if you're not careful, this thing is too guillotine-y. 154 cm blade steel, and this knife will do a lot. This knife you can use to cut. You get a lot of belly on the table, and you can also move up. You can open packages. You can cut cardboard. This knife will do a lot. Has jimping on the, or excuse me, sharpening choil. Has jimping right up here, and you can move your fingers up next to that blade and use this knife this way. You can get her up in this way. It's got enough of a curve where it fits in your hand just nice. The lockup on this one was poor. I did contact them, and they sent me another one and said keep this one, and I resolved that. I've been sanding on, took my sharpening stone and worked on that lock bar, and it's still not where I need it, but it does. I'm aware of it, and it does, you know, lock it in place. I can probably unlock it if I give it enough here, but I'm not going to do any stabbing with it. So it's a nice, I carry it. It carries well. It's relatively slim, and just a nice knife for 60-some bucks. Okay, remember, we're just kind of grading these on use. And now we're down to a $40 knife. That's a Civivi Vagabond Badlands. And I don't think that this knife got the recognition it deserved. Got kind of a, I like the blade shape on this, very useful. You can move up. Got FNR handles, which, yeah, they're cheap. But look at this. They're milled out. They'll let you recess that pocket clip. Lock up on it's good. It's early. Multiple. This thing is fidgety. You can thumb stud it. You can flick it. You can finger flick it. Hollow grind blade. So this one will do, it's an EDC. You guys want an EDC, that will do a lot of work without moving up to hard work, okay? Ergos are comfortable, has like a nice 10 lanyard hole, and definitely this one's a nugget. Another one, doesn't get the praise it deserves, is the Olight Drever. Same thing as the Civivi in that we have multiple deployment on this thing. We have that move up position. It's got a flat grind versus a hollow grind. It's got N690 steel. I don't know what kind of blade shape this is, and you know, I've been kind of hacking on, you know, Warncliffe sheepfoot kind of a thing, but there is a difference in these, okay? You got belly with this one. With this QSP and the Hadros, when you go down to, if you want to cut something, you only got a third of the blade. With this one, you know, it looks like a third, but that's a belly. You know, you guys got a belly. It's got a bit of a reinforced tip and still able to be thin. Some jimping up here. Doesn't look like much, but it works. Smooth G10, but it's also grippy. So lockup is good. Little bit, the only thing you can fix on this one is the detent. And you can see I got past it there. But when we're here, okay, we didn't get past it. So now we're past it. So it's, and look at the drop. Another thing about this one, I have not done a thing to this. I have not tightened the pivot. I have not oiled it. I haven't done a thing. It hasn't backed off. Well, actually, I have sharpened it. Sharpened up super, super easy, and it's sharp. So, Drever, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great knife. Looks ugly. If we're going to judge it on aesthetics, it looks pretty ugly. So, let's go. Second one to the end is another Olight. So Olight got in the knife business. They got Kaiser for OEM, and they went and made the Beagle. 154 cm. It's an Azo design. You got some G10, which works well. It just kind of looks funky to me. Doesn't really seem to go with the knife, but it works. It's textury without being too textury. Lockup is still early. Now this one I did have to tighten and lock tight the pivot. This thing was guillotine, and when you tighten that pivot, you can actually get it, control it. But we got you can thumb stud it, you can finger flick it, and a nice pocket clip. So this one is a great EDC. It's got normal, like what you might call a drop point, but it's got extra reinforcement with this harpoon style blade, and the same jimping that we're looking at on the Beagle. Also, great sharpening choil. Lots to love about this one. 69 bucks. You can find them for 40 bucks on the used market. Probably no one's done anything with them. They just bought them and didn't use them, and then they sold them. Okay, now we have Rusty's Griptilian. I knew about the Griptilian early on in my knife search, and I just didn't want to buy them. They're 150 bucks. And finally decided I got to try one. So this is a pretty recent acquisition. FRN handles, Mel Pardue. And what I learned was this was really built for ergonomics, and I will agree. It's got great ergos. Nice jimping here, jimping here. It's got jimping here, here, and here. And the axis lock, which is the Benchmade, and works great. Look at the size of that stop pin. You gotta love that. So this knife is a hard user. You're gonna say it can't be. It's got FRN handles. Well, it's actually, I forget the name, but somebody commented that human hands are not going to tear this material apart. And I believe it. It's a tough material. For 10 bucks, I added a deep carry pocket clip from Benchmade, shipped, 10 bucks. Gotta love that. And it comes in S30V steel. It's got a saber grind. And I could just tell when I got it, it's got this toothiness. And I know this sucker's going to cut, and you could poke. You can do all kinds of work with this thing. Comfortable in hand, and it's also easy to maneuver. Get up here. Blade shape is well thought out. The thing I don't like is the sound, the acoustics, okay? Somehow you could change that. So that's pretty much it. And yeah, for the most part, you get what you pay for. I see I forgot one over here. Here's my Ganzo 704. And I had that one next to the 6-leaf here and just behind the Civivis. And this one is amazing. 440C, 20-something dollar knife. 440C with this blade grind. This is kind of a copy of a Benchmade HK14205. So that's a Heckler and Koch collaboration with Benchmade. And the darn thing of this is right here, it's sometimes hard to get to your thumb stud. So these scales are thicker than I like. And overall, the knife is a chunk. And sometimes that pocket clip doesn't hit me where I want it to. So when I get it, I like that pocket clip right below here. And when I get that, so don't like that. But anyways, very easy to manipulate, very strong with the G-lock. And also, we got a nice stop pin on this one. Not quite Benchmade big, but yeah, close. Very close. So that coupled with the way this tip is designed, you can stab, you can slice, you can cut, and get use of that blade. $24. Hard to beat. Hard to beat. Well, this video's a long one. Anybody still sticking around? Thanks for watching. Thought I just better finish that for you, give you all a look at how they rate in terms of, and I will carry this. I definitely carry this, carry this, carry this, carry this. Safe Queen, I'll carry this. I don't like to carry these. I carry this a lot. Kind of I'll carry this one. But that's kind of how I rate them for you guys, depending for the money and what you get, kind of a deal, and how I like them. All right, thanks, Al.